Hoffler Creek Wildlife Preserve is 142 acres of undeveloped land tucked in the northwest corner of the city of Portsmouth, but very centrally located in Hampton Roads. The preserve is open to the public Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for hiking, kayaking, picnicking, bird watching, nature photography. Hoffler Creek is home to so many different species of birds because of the variety of habitat, from salt marsh to forest, to calm waters, to moving waters. Many different birds can make their home here. All you need to get started in bird watching is a pair of binoculars and a field guide. Bird watching is very accessible, whether you do it from your window or your backyard or a place like Hoffler Creek. We have bird walks on the second Saturday of every month, beginning at 7:45 a.m. Local birder Dave Brown leads our bird walks and is excellent at teaching new people how to get started in birding. Anyone that's interested in the birds at Hoffler Creek can visit our website, hofflercreek.org, and download our bird checklist. Another way to access lots of birding information about Hoffler Creek and otherwise is a new app called eBird, where birders can connect with other birders and see where the birding hotspots are and what people have been seeing in different areas. I think some of the most important things to remember when you're trying to, especially starting to learn to identify birds, is to be quiet and to be very patient. It's also good to observe the habitat that you see the birds in and their behavior. Many birds have specific areas that they typically hang out in, so that can help narrow down the choices. It's also good to pay attention to the season. Birds who are similar may use the preserve or wherever you're birding at different seasons. And often birds have distinct behaviors, mannerisms, ways of feeding, flying, flight patterns that can help with the identification. We have lots of areas that are great for birding and several bird blinds set up specifically for watching birds. It allows visitors to approach the scene without being noticed by the birds. So we have the Memorial Bird Blind overlooking the main channel of Hoffler Creek. We have a bird blind on the Riparian Trail that overlooks a smaller section of the creek. We also have one out on a point called the Willett Bird Blind that looks at over extensive salt marshes in the creek. And we have various decks throughout the preserve that are great observation spots for seeing the different types of birds that use this habitat. We have 4 trails through the forest where great spots to see and especially hear songbirds. Listen to the drumbeat of the woodpeckers. The Bluebird Trail specifically has bluebird houses constructed by Scouts that they can use as cavity nesters to build their house, and it is an open meadow for them to feed in, which is the specific habitat that they enjoy. So depending on where you are in the preserve, different types of birds use those different habitats. We have logged over 200 species of birds, but your average person could probably see over 100 species in a year. The number of birds you can see on a particular visit varies seasonally for sure, but it's not uncommon to see at least 20 species on one visit. Some of the most common birds in this area are some of the large raptors stay year-round, the hawks, the eagles, some of the shorebirds. Our logo and mascot is the egret, and the egret stays all year round. Great blue herons are often seen all year round in the marshes as well. And some of the small songbirds, cardinals, can be seen all year. This past winter, we had hoped to find a painted bunting, which is a small songbird that's very colorful. It was seen at a lot of bird feeders on the outskirts, the homes lining the preserve, but we never actually spotted one within the preserve. But because of climate change, those birds are expanding their territory. Seasonally, the bird life changes tremendously because not only which birds are in the area, but their activity at that time. So for example, in the winter months, we often see the bald eagles flying over when they would be busy making their nest, and then again in the early spring when they would be feeding their young. So their activities vary depending on the season, which makes them more visible. Over the last 20 years, birders during their monthly walks have cataloged the species that they've seen here at Hoffler Creek, and that's where we get how we know we have over 200 species that live here and or migrate through. To find out more information about the birds at Hoffler Creek, you can go to our website, hofflercreek.org, and download our bird checklist. You can use other local resources, phone apps. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology is always full of great information on birds and birding.